I want to briefly go through what sort of engineering and technical things are different about the vehicle, then how many I think they could sell, and then what I think the financial impact is to Tesla and why that matters. So a couple different things. The Model Y is apparently very similar to the Model 3, sharing about 75% of the parts. This is why they were able to build the production line so fast. I mean, Tesla unveiled this car in early 2019, March 2019, and it's actually started deliveries in March 2020, just a year and about a full 6 months ahead of time. Tesla, who used to get so much flack for missing their deadlines, for being late, is now way ahead of their deadlines, totally sandbagged their guidance apparently, and has delivered the Model Y super early, and it's here and it's beautiful. They even came through with way more range than they were saying it was going to have, so delivering early, on time, with better specs. I gotta love this from Tesla. But anyway, so the Model Y, very similar to the Model 3 with a bunch of parts. The biggest change, one of them at least, that Elon Musk had hinted on the Ride Lightning podcast was a huge die casting machine for the back part of the body of the Model Y. This is something that Sandy Munro had criticized the Model 3 about, was in the back body piece, there was all these parts that were stamped together, 70 different stamp parts to make this one back piece, and now this huge new revolutionary die casting machine that Tesla's implemented and they patented. Apparently that takes it to one die casted part replacing 70 stamped parts. So way more simple, addressing these sort of concerns that Sandy Munro had. Once again, Tesla's pace of innovation here, doing so much cool stuff under the hood. The other thing that is a big innovation here is the heat pump. The Model Y is the first ever Tesla with a heat pump. Originally, the Teslas had this really cool cooling mechanism called the super bottle in the Model 3. This goes back to a long history of Tesla having to reinvent the car HVAC system from the scratch with the Roadster, which is something I've talked about on the channel. But so Tesla, a lot of experience in heating and ventilation and AC systems. Well, the Model Y is the pièce de résistance of Tesla's current technology and innovation there, throwing in a heat pump, which is apparently 300% efficient for heating the vehicle by moving around refrigerants is what you're using the energy for, instead of using energy to just use a direct heater, which is what was in the Model 3. And so Tesla has come up with this new way to cool the battery and to heat the cabin or to cool the cabin at the same time. And this is extremely important because one of the biggest complaints for electric vehicles and Tesla's overall, and sort of hurdles for this technology to overcome to get to mainstream adoption, is that in the cold, your battery range decreases significantly because you're spending a ton of energy to heat the battery and heat the cabin. Well, because Tesla's new heating system is so much more efficient, this in theory means that drop off in winter performance and range, which could be 20 to 30% sometimes, could go way down. So Tesla, with a key innovation here that could significantly improve winter performance of its vehicles, and this is just another example of how fast Tesla moves, how much their pace of innovation is, and how this is a big deal for customers who now, driving in colder conditions, can suffer from less range anxiety. Another thing, and this is just speculation, there was a ton of rumors about a huge innovation in wiring for the Model Y. The Model S with 3 kilometers of wiring, the Model 3 with 1.5 kilometers of wiring. Wiring is always trying to be reduced because it increases complexity of the system, weight, so the less wiring, the better. The Model Y was rumored to just have 100 meters of wiring, this sort of new rigid wiring harness that could be installed by robots, not people. I don't actually know if that technology has made it into the Model Y or not. That was a rumor that they were having. I haven't been able to confirm that or not. So if you know, let me know, but that's also something to look for. So as far as I can tell, those are pretty much the only differences in the Model Y and the Model 3. We have that new big, die casting piece for the back instead of stamping. Then we have potentially this new wiring harness, but we definitely have that new heat pump.